Hello everybody, welcome to Scrape Metal and Roll, the Limit of Adhesion podcast, a chance to look back at the rounds that have just gone and a chance to talk to some of our drivers. My name's Gareth, and joining me for this first edition, I've got the three of the Cool Camels. It's James Pepper, Steve Pepper and Rich Meesters. How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks Gareth. It looks like you've got three humps here.
Yeah, sure have.
Doing awesome, Gareth. Good to be here.
Nice one. Nice to hear from you from Canada, Rich. James, you all right?
Yeah, same over here. Thanks, Gareth.
Excellent stuff. So, as I say, we've already had round one of Prime, of Prototypes, of the USF 2000 Championship, and of TCR. So we'll take a look at the standings of all of those, and we'll start with TCR since it was the first championship to get going this season, TCR Season 2. And the race one podium was Damon Mitchell, Stephen Greening in second and Russell Bright in third. And then Don Parker winning race two. Tor Malarin promoted to second place with Steph DeKinder. And I keep wanting to say Steph DeKinder Egg, but I must stop myself, in third. So Russell Bright, a penalty, losing second place in race two for doing the jump and hitting Damon Mitchell. What's your thoughts, guys? Justified or not?
The penalty, I think very much. The race hadn't really finished, and Damon was the innocent victim of Russell's unfortunate leap of faith. It's part of iRacing's rules, I suppose, so there's nothing much we could do about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of on the outside looking in. I had to miss the TCR and USF weekend, so kind of picked up where the Prime and Prototypes came in.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Rich and Steve just both summed that up perfectly. As an overall, what the jump was, it probably, I think, who was it ahead of? Was it someone like Dom? I think ahead of Russell.
Yeah.
Who was going to attempt it, but then thought probably better of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. iRacing makes the rules, not us. Well,
that's true, although he does have a suspended penalty lurking over him. If he does anything wrong, he's going to have a race ban. So, not that I want to see that from my teammate, obviously. So, with that sort of shaking out, then it's Dom leading the championship from Steph and Tor in third. Stephen Greening is obviously the obviously notable missing person from that top three because of the collision he and Damon had in race two. But any thoughts on who the early title protagonists are?
I think you've got to be
James.
Yeah, sorry, go on. I think no,
go on.
Mainly I should think it's Damon's very strong. Obviously had a bad race too. But he's a specialist in the TCR, so I would expect that Damon would come strong all the way through the season. And obviously Dom, he loves the TCRs as well. So it's going to be a battle, I think, between three or four, maybe Alex Murphy, Stephen Greening, Russell's very strong as well, and maybe Don Parker.
Yeah, really good shout. Yeah. Rich, are you going to join us for the rest of the TCR season? Assuming you're not busy?
I am planning on it, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit touch and go with me sometimes, but I've done a little practicing for the Snetterton 300 coming up, and hoping to be at least competitive with the lower side of this, of the field.
And you're in the Villester, aren't you?
Yeah, that's the only TCR I currently own.
Fair enough. Yeah, you enjoy it? Do you like it though? What's your feeling?
It's all right. I tend to like the open wheelers a bit better, so it's a bit of a change. But learning front wheel drive is on a racetrack is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think actually
cool.
Sorry, Gareth. I think actually the Cool Camel teams are actually split 50-50. You got myself and Rich in the Veloster. And I'm fairly sure that James and Mark are in the Elantra. James would probably put me right on that.
Yeah, that's correct. No, you're completely correct with that. Yeah.
Excellent start. So Hyundai all round though.
Yep.
So yeah, we've touched on Snetterton coming up then, and so obviously the season started at Alton Park. But looking ahead from that, then we've almost got a mini BTCC season with Alton Park, then Snetterton, Knockhill, and Donington before we go fly away a bit to the Red Bull Ring, Hockenheim, which I think is the National A layout, which Dom's a big fan of, Long Beach, and then finishing at Charlotte Roval. So it's quite an exciting season, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be a bit of a car park at Long Beach, though. It's not everybody's favourite track, but yeah, looking at the BTCC type tracks, they suit the TCRs, and it's something that I certainly be looking forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly be unpacking a bit of Long Beach as we get further into the show. Well, let's move on then to USF then. Watkins Glen, the Cup layout was the first race of the season, and it was Alex Murphy who you mentioned earlier winning race 1 ahead of Stephen Maxwell and Eric Piusi. Fantastic result for him in P3. Race 2 was won by Stephen Greening, Tourmalarin, and then Ben Chowcraft in third. So nice results for them. The top of the championship, meaning then it's Alex Murphy leading from Greening from Chowcraft. So those three, it's surprising not to see Tor right up there in those top spots. We're so used to him winning in USF, aren't we?
Yeah, it gets a little bit boring of talking about Tourmalarin at the front every time, especially doing comms on the USF. So it's nice to see other people at the front as well.
Yeah. And Rich, go on. You're racing the Guinness livery again?
I'm racing the Guinness Zero livery with Cool Camel, so I'm tired of taking a bit of the gears from the commentators around my drinking habits. But yeah, no, it's good. We have changed it up a little bit with the Cool Camel as well as part of that livery, so should be an interesting season. And yeah, I think yes. Tour is great. Obviously, really strong. It's nice to see Alex up there at the top as well, though. I think he really deserves it. He's a solid driver.
And you're not just saying that because he's Canadian as well?
No.
So,
I think I can also...
Go on, James, please.
Sorry, Gareth. I think I can also very much say this time there will be no more chocolate orange liveries.
Oh, God, yeah. That was a lot of fun, that one.
I mean, looking at the teams, I think Alex Murphy's been very shrewd in taking Stephen Maxwell with him. Very shrewd, because Alex is quick and Stephen Maxwell's very quick as well, and I think they'll make a very strong team, and they'll be up there challenging. I mean, you can see from the current standings. I mean, they're straight away 112 points out of those two races, and they're going to take some stopping this season.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, very, very rapid pair of drivers. Remember at Lime Rock last season when Maxwell got the double. There was a bit of contact between Gavin and Alex, but even so, Maxwell was practically dominant there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So like you say, a very shrewd choice of teammate by Alex. So we'll keep an eye on that. A look at the calendar then. So as I say, we've had Watkins Cup, Snetterton 300 coming up in the double header with TCR, but then a split away for following rounds. So it's USA International, the first oval round of the season in round 3, Road America, the Red Bull Ring, Gateway, which is the second oval, and then Long Beach and Charlotte Roval to wrap up. So Long Beach appearing for all 4 championships this season, which will be maybe a few headaches for some drivers.
It's a fun track if you get it right, but a crap track if you get it wrong.
Well, this is true, yeah. James, what tracks are you particularly looking forward to? Because you were really strong in some tracks in season 2, particularly the Donington round. You were fantastic round there. So, which ones do you think is going to suit your strengths?
Yeah, I think Donington is one of my best tracks. Just a great track to drive. All this hearing of Snetterton 300 is bringing back some bad memories from setting myself and Steve up with some races, no practice in the F4, and just carnage, honestly. I think I've never felt so bad.
Did you have? I think you had a little incident in Nelson in the Prime race at Snetterton 200 last season. I seem to recall. Did you? I think can't remember who you hit or something, but there was a little collision going on there. So yeah, I mean, hopefully your season is going to improve. How was your USF round one?
USF round one. Where was
Watkins.
it?
Yeah.
This season. Oh no, I don't think I did.
Oh, you
Watkins
skipped
this
it.
season. Yeah, I think I missed it. From what I've heard and seen from replays and things like that from people have put on, it does look like it was an interesting race. However, I wish I could have been there to drive in it. Unfortunately, I skipped it.
James was poorly that night, and I was on night, so we didn't actually compete.
Oh right, yeah. No, you missed out because, yeah. I mean, it was a brilliant track. I mean, we were basically going into the bus stop without even braking.
Yeah,
it was absolutely mental.
I must admit, Watkins is one of my favourite tracks anyway. So I was a bit gutted to be on nights and missing it.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'd had a really nice race too at TCR, but yeah, Watkins just fell apart for me. I had a pair of disasters myself, but yeah, never mind. So, well, let's move on then to the other double header then, which is the Prototypes and Prime pairing, both of which took place round one at Long Beach, and Prototypes the LMP2 and LMP3, the first multi-car championship for the LOA, which is very exciting, and it was, I'm going to murder his name, Dawid Duglecki. You have to tell me how to pronounce it.
Something like that, yeah. It's close enough for me.
And yeah,
I usually rely on Mark for getting those things right and wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll follow suit.
And yeah, Gavin Kelly was in third, and then in the LMP3, Tom Lauren, Sam Stott, and Zhao Tomi in third. Rich, you came fifth, and Steve sixth. So great results for you two in the LMP3. James, sadly a DQ. And then looking at race two, then we had Stephen Maxwell winning ahead of Mike Messenger and Mike Murphy in the LMP2. Tom Lauren making it the double in LMP3. Zhao Tomi moving up to P2, and Ryan Tazewski in third place. Now, I think Ryan joined us the back end of last season in the USF.
He did, yeah.
And did really well at Bathurst, didn't he? I think he got a podium. So, Rich, a fourth place there for you, and Steve a fifth. So you both went up one place as well. And James, sadly, a night to forget for yourself, though. So, really, Rich and Steve, love to hear how your nights went.
It went well. I think the LMP3 and probably the LMP2 is a beast to get around that track, just because they're so powerful and there's so little room for error. And I think I was a little disappointed in race one. I gave up a couple of positions by just getting a little loose on the last couple of laps. Probably tires got too hot, and I slid out and kind of sacrificed a couple of positions, but managed to keep it out of the wall and kept going to the end.
Yeah, I'd go with
nice.
I'd go with Rich as well, because it's such a high performance car, and what I mean, it's such a tight, windy little track. Although there's the long straights, you're still trying to get around those concrete encased corners. So, to be honest with you, I was just playing the team game. I knew I couldn't match Rich for pace, and it was literally just trying to pick up places from where I'd qualified, because I couldn't get a qualifying lap. No matter what I did, I couldn't get a qualifying lap. So for the first race, so it was literally just head down, see what I could do. And when it came out for the obviously second race, it was just like keep cool and just play the team game and try and get as many points as we could for me and Rich.
Yeah, no, that sounds sensible.
Yeah, and I think a lot of just being gentle on the throttle coming out of some of those corners is really important with those cars. Yeah,
the suspension was very bouncy, wasn't it? It was very, very stiffly sprung, which made it very difficult over the bumps.
I think staying out of Stephen Greening's way was another thing to try to do in that race.
Well, he was a man on a mission. Yeah.
I mean, it was great to have a multi-class race finally in an LOA race, because we'd not done it before. I mean, I've never done multi-class. I'm presuming, apart from silly seasons, excuse me, there's been nothing like it before. So to put the prototypes together was like, are they going to catch us? Are they going to be so quick that they're going to be battling through the LMP3s? I might have to start watching the wing mirrors and things. So the unknown for that, going certainly around Long Beach, was brilliant.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that given it's a relatively short track that we didn't have a lot more interaction between the two classes.
Well, I think that, the trouble is the race distance is just so short at the moment with this current format. Yeah. So hopefully when we sort of mix things up in the future, we'll get more of a mix going, and we'll have a lot more of that interaction between the classes, which I think is, definitely a facet of that sort of multi-class champ racing, isn't it? Yeah. So
I think Dan tried to do it in the second race, didn't he? with his setup.
Yeah.
LMP on P1.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
Hopefully Dan gets it right this time with the setting up the race itself and the sessions right.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. So championships wise, we've got Maxwell leading from Messenger from Murphy in LMP2. And then it's Tor leading from Tommy, and then Ryan and Rich. You're in 5th place in the championship at the moment, so exciting times ahead of you. Obviously, no slots, no glory with the double crash out, so not a great evening from us. Although I must admit, Rich, I really enjoyed those last few laps of race 2 when I was chasing you down.
Yeah, kind of. I think one where you passed me and then went straight into the wall on the next lap was entertaining.
Yeah, that was race 1. Yeah, one to forget. So, well, let's take a look at Prime then. These two sharing the calendar all the way through all 8 rounds. So we'll talk about Prime and then we'll talk about the calendar. So Prime race 1 at Long Beach was Tour winning from Gavin Kelly, Afonso Aguirre in 3rd, and Ben Chalcroft in 4th. And then Prime Race 2 was Alex Murphy winning and Dave Lyne, and then Ben Chalcroft coming home in P3. Rich, you came home in 7th in that race, 17th for yourself, Steve, and 25th for James. So, James, is it fair to say that Long Beach not one of your favourite tracks?
If it could be removed completely, I would take all the money you want. But it's one of those tracks that I've just got to... So I take it as a dropped round, really. There's no point not racing, because what's the fun in that? But just to try keep out of people's way was probably the aim. I think the incidents, they just speak for themselves. Like, it's a track of either you get through it or you don't, and it's for other people as well to make safe moves and for yourself to keep out of it. So it's not for just one driver to be sensible, it's for everyone.
Yeah. Well, wise words.
Absolutely. I think I know I got caught up in race 1 in some early carnage.
You met the back of my car, didn't you?
Didn't have a great race.
I got
race 2, I think,
so.
Race 2, I was lucky to stay out of trouble and had a good result. And I think if we're looking at the Club 1500 results, I think, Steve, you won the first one and I won the second one. So I think we were doing pretty good there.
Yeah, I think...
that is something I really want to talk about, actually. Yeah, go on, Steve.
No, go on. No, I'll let you go.
Well, I was just going to introduce it, as obviously you two are basically the title protagonists that it seems to be for Club 1500 this season. Poor Nico Martel did put himself down for Club 1500, but considering he spends most of his time racing me in top split, I think it's reasonable that he does stay in
just
top
a little
split.
bit, yeah.
I can understand the want to go down, but I think it's better where he stays in top split. So are you guys looking forward to this scrap?
Oh
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's an inter-team scrap, so yeah, it's all good fun, and I love racing with and against Rich. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's interesting though now without the Club 1500 teams is what's the strategy going to be if we're chasing each other down on a given day.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's missing really is a Club 1500 teams, because obviously that's where when we formed the teams and what have you, it was the Cool Camel Silver being Club 1500 with me and Rich, and then it was gold with Mark, Zeph, and James in top split. So that's why we split up initially. But yeah, I mean the results at Long Beach I mean, I managed to recover to what would become third, so a double podium for me, and it was great. Because have you won a race before, Rich, in LOA?
No, that's my first.
So
last season had a P2 and P3 at Hungaroring, but in 2 races, which was kind of cool. But this is my first LOA win.
Yeah, so it's nice. It's nice
Fantastic.
for both of us to get us maiden wins at the same weekend, really.
Yeah, very much so. And just briefly talking about the top split championship, then we've got Alex Murphy leading. So he's leading both open wheelers after round 1. Chalcraft up in second place, and Dave Lyne, the multi champion, in third place. So that's quite an exciting championship, and be curious to see how Alex can perform across. Well, I think he's in contention for at least 3 of these titles, isn't he? So it's going to be pretty special. Let's take a look at the calendar then. So we've just had Long Beach. We're next heading to Spa. Then we got Manicourt, Road Atlanta, Sebring, Jerez, Watkins, and Suzuka. So let's just quickly go around and start with you, James. Then Rich, then Steve, because that's the order on my Discord. Tell me which track are you most looking forward to?
I would normally say Spa, but because we're not going to be there. However, I think my favourite option there would probably be Watkins, because it's just one of the best tracks on the service.
Cool. Yep, Rich?
Always going to say I love Spa because it's just such a great track to drive. I'm actually kind of looking forward to doing Suzuka. I've kind of been working really hard on being able to drive in complex corners better, and that's obviously the track to do that.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, how about you, Steve?
For me, it's got to be Watkins Glen. I just love the track. It's such a flowing track, and I seem to be fairly consistent there as well. And then obviously the only would have been Spa, but we're visiting a certain Mr. Winslade at that weekend, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, we're coming out to see Mr. Winslade. But
I'm looking forward to seeing
it's
you
going to be a
guys.
race to
Nice.
try and get back for the race. So I'd rather keep it nice and safe and get home in one piece.
It sounds
Very
like
sensible.
sounds like I could come out of the weekend ahead of Stephen points.
I would think so. Yeah.
Hope so. Anyway, I got to.
It'd be my drop
Got to
race.
keep the Cool Camel livery going on that weekend.
Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, guys, that's some very exciting races to look forward to then, and I wish you guys the best of luck at Snetterton. So next time I'm going to be joined by Chris White, Sam Stott, and Ben Chalcraft. It'd be great to hear from him after his stellar round 1s across the championships. Nice to get to know someone who's he's only a few seasons into the LOA, unlike Chris, who joined in Prime Season 3. So a bit of an old timer now is Chris. So yeah, good to talk to those guys next time. I hope you join us then. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and thank you very much to James, to Rich, and to Steve for joining me. This has been Scrape Metal and Roll, and we'll see you later. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.